My name is Jonte, and today we will be going over our top 5 scary games. With me is my friend Kyle, who will be talking about the storyline behind the games, and my friend Sean, who will be talking about the development of the games. First off, we're going to start with Resident Evil 7.
Right, just gonna park in this random marsh, go look for my wife. I'm the loving husband.
Kyle, tell me a little bit about Resident Evil 7.
This takes place in a very derelict, rundown plantation in Dulvey, Louisiana. Very nice state, but this place kind of screwed up. And the whole reason that you're there is that you're getting a message from your wife, or Ethan's wife, Maria, because she has been trapped, aka kidnapped, by the family that you believe she's working with. And Mia actually ends up becoming infected. Now, you're fighting against the infected family in their home, the plantation, and you're also fighting against these creatures called molded, which are these very large, oozing black goo type of blobs that you're fighting against that also have claws.
Yeah.
So they are disgusting and dangerous. Though after a while you get your weapons and whatnot and you kind of become less scared by them. Hence why you're also fighting against the family. They're tough to beat. Now, the daughter of the infected family, her name is Zoe, she's actually offering you assistance. She helps you find the cure to the infection, which is hidden throughout the house. Typical. And after a while, you end up, you have to choose between Zoe or the wife Mia in order to save with the cure. Now, you definitely know that Mia has been infected because you actually end up fighting against her for a little while. Not the most fun.
She cuts off his hand, doesn't she? Yeah. Goes crazy.
It's rough. So you end up having to choose between Zoe or Mia, and Zoe seems fine. And it's really because she got out of the house in time. She wasn't around the rest of the family. She didn't appear sick. But either way, you have to choose Zoe or Mia. So it kind of changes the story on who you choose, but not incredibly so. They kind of make it look like you're really making a huge decision when really
you end up in the same place.
You end up in the same spot, yeah. So the story moves along to an abandoned tanker ship where you learn that Mia is actually a covert operative for a mysterious corporation. Mysterious. And the corporation created this bioweapon in the form of a little girl named Evelyn. Now, Ethan actually ends up making a toxin to kill Evelyn and takes it through these mine tunnels back to the plantation, or the Baker home. Now, Ethan ends up killing the old lady, or grandma, who is actually Evelyn, because thanks to the infection, she actually ended up aging really quickly. And she doesn't exactly die right away in very final boss format. She has a couple different forms to take. So then at the end of the game, with the help of someone who is allegedly Chris Redfield, boss of the year, Chris Redfield ends up helping you out, finish her off and everything, and you fly away in a umbrella helicopter. Umbrella helicopter takes you away at the end. So you can kind of guess who that mysterious corporation is. Umbrella's back, and it's not great.
So, there's actually DLC for this game.
There is a
And
DLC,
in the
yes.
DLC, it kind of discloses that Umbrella made the bioweapon, and
Yeah, it was.
now they're turning themselves around to like,
Oh no, we need to
we
cover
need to
this
fix our
up and fix
mistakes.
it. So yeah,
dot.
Umbrella made Evelyn,
then
and
you go back
Mia
for-
and Ethan were both working for Umbrella.
Yeah.
So it's not entirely clear,
Yeah.
excuse me, at the beginning of it, but you learn.
Yep,
You learn.
The next game we're going to talk about is Amnesia.
Enemies. Puh. Bring it on. I'm not scared. Not even a little bit. Okay, I'm scared.
So I've never played this game. So Kyle, why don't you tell me a little bit about Amnesia?
Amnesia takes place in 1839, and you play as Daniel, who is from London. So this is all in Europe, which is gorgeous. But anyways, it takes place mainly in the Prussian Brennenburg Castle. Now, all Daniel remembers is that he's being hunted. He has to kill Alexander, who is allegedly his friend, and he erased his memories willingly. So, you're going throughout the house, throughout the mansion, collecting diaries and notes that kind of shed light on the past, and you also have some flashbacks and visions, dreams. They also fill in some blanks about why he's there, what he's doing, and how he got there, and such stuff like that. So, through those things, we learn that Daniel was on an archaeological dig where he found this weird orb that he believes caused him to have these horrible, horrible nightmares and like night terrors and everything. And thanks to that, thanks to those dreams, he finally meets Alexander, who says he can help. Now, Alexander makes Daniel perform these really weird and violent rituals. And because of one ritual in particular, Daniel loses faith in Alexander, which is actually why he took the amnesia potion after he killed the girl that escaped from that ritual. And, let me see. Shit, where am I? After he killed an escaping girl. But all the while that you're learning this, the player is being hunted around this incredibly huge mansion by creatures that will actually drive you insane if you look at them for too long. And another way to, or one particular way to keep from going insane is to look at candles or lights, because that kind of helps you ground yourself.
Right.
Now, one really big spoiler is that Alexander is not a human being. He's actually an alien, which is weird. Hella weird. So, the whole goal of the game is to get to this inner sanctum, kill Alexander, right? Once you get to the inner sanctum, you actually meet one man called Henrik Cornelius Agrippa, which is a man who once studied the orbs Daniel found with his student Johann Weyer, and has since been kept alive and imprisoned by Alexander. So he tells Daniel that Weyer has been able to harness the power of the orbs and travel between different dimensions. So Alexander's preparing to do that right then, right at that moment. So Agrippa tells Daniel to find these different pieces of the orb and put it back together because he needs that to completely breach the inner sanctum and get to Alexander. So the game actually ends with 3 possible endings. So 1, Daniel can let Alexander succeed and then be killed by the shadow monster. Or 2, he can prevent it from the portal from being opened and leave the castle content with his redemption after the shadow just kills Alexander. Or 3, he can throw Agrippa's disembodied head into the portal, which leaves the shadow to kill both Alexander and Daniel. It's really based on a choice that you make. So that's definitely a weird one. But it's very fun to play because there are so many fan-made storylines added onto that, which some are hilarious, others are terrifying. It really just depends on how much time you want to spend on this one game.
Yeah, I feel like if you go deeper into it, like
You could go much deeper into it.
Very deep into it.
Yeah.
And the development has to do a lot with the choices. So
Yeah.
what she's telling me about, or telling you about, the story actually has to do more about, the choices of what you do and how you make it, which is really, really good.
Whoa. Ah! Oh, no, you come back, you useless camp. Ah! Oh, man, I almost got that one. I'm gonna get you. Ah! Hey!
To like sit up and talk about it's like
Oh, yep.
You just
Yep. You have to be proper when you're talking about
let
this
me put on
one.
let me put on my big girl pants.
Okay, so with Until Dawn, it takes place in modern times. The characters have cell phones, modern technology, stuff like that. And there are 8 friends, which are all playable at some point, along with a few other smaller characters that you can't play as, but they are definitely important.
Yeah.
So you can play as Josh, which is a brother to Hannah and Beth. Now, sadly, Beth dies at the beginning of the game, and Hannah is still technically missing, which this is a thing in the storyline that is unavoidable. This happens no matter what. So you could also play as Jessica, which is the...
She's kind of slutty,
But she acts like it. Jessica is the, forgive me, but the blonde bimbo type, your basic white girl. So basic white girl. It's hysterical. And you could also play as Sam, who is the final girl type. She's the hero-feeling character, though technically she could still die. A lot of times she doesn't, simply because she has that personality to her that says, okay, this is your main survivor.
Yeah.
So hence the final girl trope. Now Ashley is a bit wimpier, very innocent, and she also has a major crush on Chris. Hence drama. Now, another girl you can play as is Emily, and she's the bitchy girl. She's the one that is very...
She causes the trouble.
She
like,
causes a lot of drama. And she's very smart,
oh, yeah.
but she has a horrendous attitude. Hence why they call her the bitch. Now, Emily, a little bit of the drama backstory is that Emily used to date Mike, but now Mike is with Jessica. So now Emily is with Matt, who is also kind of a buddy with Mike.
Right.
So it causes quite a bit of tension, especially if you get to a certain point in the game where Matt sees Emily and Mike talking alone, and it looks a little too friendly.
Yeah.
So your reaction to that moment could also determine the type of relationships and things that go down. So
like
Mike, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like it's funny because I think it was it Hannah or was it Beth that also had like a crush on Mike?
It was Hannah that had the major crush.
The major crush on Mike. And this is what like jump
That's what jump started
story.
the entire thing.
Yeah, because I think it was Emily who
It was actually Jessica.
It was Jessica who constructed this plan to...
She constructed the main prank that ended up upsetting Hannah so much that it caused her to run out of the house. And Beth, being the good twin sister that she is, runs after her to bring her back, because it is in the middle of winter and they're on a ski resort type mountain. There is a lot of snow, so it can be really dangerous.
Yeah.
Turns out it's even more dangerous than that.
Yeah.
So with Mike, he's the jock, kind of a jerk stereotype, but he's actually, depending on how you play him, he could actually be a decent guy, just like with certain things to prove.
Right.
And he's the one that is with Jessica, and depending on how you play it, he could actually save Jessica. Just kind of depends. There's also a certain point where you could choose to either save or kill a wolf. And you could also make a choice to where you lose some fingers or not,
At least.
playing as Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, either way, Mike goes through some stuff.
Yeah.
He goes through some shit.
Yeah, I feel like all of these characters come out like, oh, this happened, but him is just like,
Yeah.
dude,
He's like,
this
dude,
happened. This is what happened. This is real.
it's like, do you not see the missing fingers?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
okay, so with Matt is considered the token black guy, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, you
I
always have to
know.
have the one black guy.
When it comes down to horror movies and horror shows, you have to have the token black guy.
It's like the one who
It's-
you know is smart, but it's just like he does makes the most stupidest
Yeah.
decisions. It's like no matter how many times you try to change it, it's like, nope, this is happening.
And with Matt, he's actually a really decent guy.
Yeah.
You could just kind of see, like, before you even play as him, you can kind of see, like, he's an okay dude. The only issue is that he's dating Emily. That is an issue.
Yeah.
Now, he is a decent guy, but he's also a jock. He has a Letterman jacket and everything. But, you know, he's doing his best. He's trying his fucking best, all right?
He's trying, okay?
He's trying. So it's actually really easy to get Matt killed,
Yeah.
which really sucks.
And I feel
but
like-
I mean, it's also a little bit expected.
Yeah, I feel like
It's very expected when it comes
Yeah.
to the story.
Emily kind of like pushes that death though.
She does kind of
Yeah.
cause it in a
Yeah.
way. Yes.
It's like okay, you can save him.
you
But
could save him.
but Emily like pushes that death.
She does. All of
Yeah.
because of that bad attitude.
Yeah.
Now, for one of the last characters that you can play as is Chris. This is the guy that Ashley has a huge crush on. And Chris has a huge crush on Ashley. But do they ever talk about it? Of course not. Then where would the drama be?
It's a win-win between both of them.
It's one of those awkward.
It can
We
be.
both know we have something moments,
Right.
but we're not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
about it.
So he's the kind of nerdy, geeky type, very lovable if you play him right. Play him right. If you make
Choose
the
the right
right
decisions,
choices,
yeah.
he's very lovable. And he's also Josh's best friend. And they have been friends for literally years. And they actually talk about that in the beginning of the game. Now, the whole reason that this thing is going down is because of this major prank played on Hannah, which was Jessica and Emily faked a note from Mike to Hannah saying, hey, I actually really like you. Come on up here and we can chill.
We can chill.
Yeah, quote unquote chill. And turns out Hannah thinks it's real. Because, I mean, they've been partying a bit. She's actually kind of shy. So she learns the hard way that the majority of her friends are there watching her trying to have some fun with Mike.
Yeah. Like she's in the midst of
She
like,
is about to take off her top And
Everybody just
everybody's like, OMG, what?
Pretty much, we're gonna have to censor the whole entire thing about it because it's all nudity then and there.
nudity.
But as you say,
You see cheeks. I'm
Yes.
just kidding.
They actually don't get that far because
Yeah,
Hannah,
no.
they don't. But Hannah ends up extremely upset, which is super, super understandable. I mean, here she's trying to be with the guy of her dreams. Turns out it's a huge prank. She's super upset. She runs out of the house, and Beth, being the good sister that she is, goes after her.
Yep.
Now, they end up making some different choices because they get scared because of certain sounds or certain things they see. And no matter what, they end up running to this cliff, and they're about to fall. It's like, they're gonna fall.
Yeah.
But there's this mysterious man reaching his hand down, like, okay,
Let me help you.
so the thing is, does Beth drop Hannah
as a
and
choice.
try and reach for the hand?
Right.
Or does she just let go and they both fall?
And that's the first major
That is the first
decision of the
huge,
game.
huge decision. So all of that causes them to go missing. One of them is dead, sadly. And it's a year later when all of the friends come back to the same lodge because Josh sends them a message saying, hey, let's just put it behind us and everything.
Let's party.
Let's have a fun time. Turns out this is how he gets his revenge. Because as you can kind of see from the house and certain dialogues, Josh's, I think his dad is a big person in the movie industry. So they have quite a lot of props and movie making equipment. And so Josh is also a huge movie buff. So he knows how to trick people properly. I mean, he has hidden cameras. He has a fake ghost. He has pranks set up throughout the woods. But what he doesn't realize is that there is a much bigger danger out there. So
And this is where the real danger.
that's
comes
where the
in.
real danger is. Now, see, you can kind of get through the story that Josh isn't exactly all there in the head. He's a little bit mentally ill, and he hasn't really been treated properly.
Right.
Because there are certain points in the game where you meet the psychiatrist, and the choices you make in those meetings can also shape the game. Because you learn later that this is Josh's psychiatrist. And that the quote-unquote psycho guy that's kind of lurking around the mansion is actually Josh. Okay. And they really don't even notice that there's a larger danger other than the masked psycho guy until they meet this stranger with a flamethrower,
Which is bad.
which they thought was going to be the bad guy. But it turns out he's there to help because he knows what's going on. He knows the dish, he knows the tea, he knows what's up. And what's up is Wendigos. Now, Wendigos are pretty much all over mythology when it comes to North America. They are a type of creature that comes from the need for survival, especially via cannibalism. And the issue is that if somebody is trapped in the mines, and this is one of the main storylines when it comes to Wendigos, is that if you're trapped in a mine and the Wendigo spirit has been freed from a past Wendigo or something like that, and you start cannibalism, you will be possessed by the Wendigo spirit. The main thing is is that you can either save all of these teenagers until dawn, which is when the helicopter comes to rescue them, or some of them are going to end up dead. It really depends on the choices you make. And so you could play this game multiple times and have a different outcome each time, which is probably why it has become so insanely popular, along with it looking good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a gorgeous game.
Very gorgeous game of artwork and development into it, which is the contrast, all the different types of environments that have to go into it, snowy and dark and descent and hollowed, and it's all just very, it's very looking good. And based with story, it's like amazing.
Simply because you can change the story so much. So that is Until Dawn, which is a incredible game.
Right.
Those are our top 3 horror games, and I think those are some pretty good horror games to play.
They're really good.
Here are our honorable mentions. Basically, these are games that we all like to play, but we thought were too lengthy to talk about in this video.
Yeah.
So go ahead and watch them.
Roll it.
Ah! No, close the door! Close the damn door! Oh God, I'm so dead! Well, I was right about one thing, I was dead. What the hell? Oh, this is your last chance to turn back. Oh, okay.
Perpetual motion
Yeah.
or disturbing perceptual anomalies.
Sexual?
Anom-
Sure, okay. Are these the sexual anomalies? Do I need to beat a blow? I've mastered my beat a blow skills. Oh, the sounds, I don't like them. Ah, fuck! No! Oh, yeah!